Thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. TheBlock Day 3. Thank you to TheBlock for hosting this. I think it's been a wonderful experience bringing the community together after what's certainly been an interesting month and a half. This is the first time that we're all sat together, all joined in what's usually such a vibrant city for this industry. So it's good to kick things off again. This isn't about me, this is about you guys, so I'm going to pass it on. Jimmy, let's start with you. Just a brief introduction to who you are, what you do, how long you've been here. Over to you.
Thank you, happy to be here. So I've been here for 5 years, came in from Lebanon. I'm a co-founder and COO of IOPN, which stands for Internet of People Powered by Networks. We're a digital infrastructure company. We are building a layer 1 blockchain that we're launching in a couple of weeks. We build sovereign AI compute data centers, as well as focusing on sovereign identity solutions as well, targeting mostly government and semi-government entities.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Christopher. I haven't been here quite as long as you. I came here 3.5 months ago, so amazing timing. Got like 2 weeks of things being normal before everything started kicking off. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of Spark. We're building an AI-native game engine. Now what that means in practice is we're basically building the infrastructure that's going to allow anyone to create games, right? And really bring the creator economy we've seen really come through with TikTok and Shopify and all these platforms that are lowering the, let's call it, threshold to building things. Now bringing this to gaming as well. Thanks.
Hello, and I'm Irfan. I'm the business director of Optics. We used to be called Optics Bank, but because of some weird regulations, we don't use bank term anymore. But essentially, we are a banking service provider alongside security and digital asset platforms all under one roof. So we are licensed in the region and also in Europe and Canada. And we offer multi-currency accounts up to 28 currencies. We are crypto-friendly. We are financial system friendly. And also in UAE, we are mostly working with the free zones. Obviously the Innovation City in Baghdad and also DMCC. And yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so thanks for introducing yourselves. If I were to ask you to maybe go a bit deeper and tell us a little bit about why the UAE, like why you came to the UAE, what specific problem or opportunity you saw in the UAE that you wanted to address, and how your experience has been. Like, have you learned anything new since you came here? Did it match your expectations? I mean, Chris, you've been here, came at a weird time, so this isn't what it's usually like. But yeah, if you can tell us a little bit more about, I guess more personally, not the pitch. Like how has your personal experience been in the UAE since you first kicked things off?
Sure. So I've said this before. The reason we came here was because our banking system failed back home, and that was a great catalyst for us to really focus and double down on decentralization and build in this vertical. The government, the regulations here were very permitting, even though they weren't really there. But the compliance framework was being built at the time, and we were really supported to build in a gray area. So we weren't really guilty until proven innocent. We were allowed to really research and develop and push our product. At the time it was an NFT marketplace that I co-founded, and UAE very quickly became a top player in the space that was really dishing out new technology and new regulations that for the first time we felt that the world was now following what was happening here. And in the history it was the opposite. We would always copy or wait for businesses that were launched abroad, especially in the US, that are coming here, and that was basically the attraction of existing and established businesses into the UAE. That was kind of the mandate, but we felt this shift, whereas homegrown businesses now are making it to the global stage, and we came in the right time, and we really, bird ourselves, made the right friends with, the free zones, the regulators, especially Innovation City, which was dragged out at the time, and we're hopefully going to be here for a long time.
That's a good question. So we predate Spark, which is an AI gaming project. We actually have our roots in crypto. So that's how, not myself, but my co-founder Chris, ended up in Dubai. And then when we started building Spark, we essentially built a global team. We got a team now with 22 strong. A couple of us are here in Dubai. We are building out our presence in the region, but we're also continuing to hire globally. So we were quite flexible in where we actually ended up setting up. Let's call it our main office, right? What really drew us to continuing in the region is seeing a lot of these initiatives coming out now that are really aligning very well with what it is we're building. We've had a ton of support from Innovation City. Innovation City makes a lot of sense for us because Paul himself has a very, for those who don't know, Paul's the CEO of Innovation City. He was speaking here yesterday. He has a very deep gaming background coming from Canada. So we found it to be a very good hub for picking up all the pieces that we need to continue building as we continue our journey.
So we never really came to UAE for setting up the business here. We had the license elsewhere, and we had the license in Oman and at the time, and we had the license in Europe and Canada. But we wanted to launch our product, I think back in October. We did it in FinTech Surge and in Jitex, during the Jitex. And the amazing thing was that we never planned to get clients from UAE, but it just organically happened. So, and the starting of it was with aggression. That we met at Jitex during that conference, and then immediately we found out that some of our features, some of our onboarding setups is it's just missing in UAE, and especially the part that we can onboard UBOs without residency in UAE. It was they say, yeah, we all have this problem, no banks allows that and whatever, and that became the hook here. And since then, we are only working with the free zones. First of all, Innovation City, and then nowadays DMCC.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think you've all touched on similar but different struggles that every founder will have seen it, and that's actually a good segue into my next conversation point, which is, what have been your challenges? What have been the obstacles? Nowhere is perfect. Everyone likes to think this place is a utopia, but it's not without its share of hurdles, right? So it's a bit of a two-parter, and maybe we'll mix things up and start with Irfan on this one. But what would you say, for anyone who is here from a banking perspective, let's say, that's looking to set up, what are the things that they are most likely going to face, and what would your recommendations be to them to overcome those challenges?
So the most important thing that we learn in the whole GCC, this is the whole GCC that I'm talking about, and eventually it's always reflects in UAE way more than the other countries, is that setting up and getting started here through the licensing and everything is awesome. I mean, we don't have the easiest path to the licenses here. I'm talking about the payment licenses, yeah? Or I'm talking about the full broker-dealer license.
Regulated licenses.
Yeah, regulated licenses. So the best thing that you can do just to start and kick things off is to find the proper partners and piggyback their licenses for a while. But yeah, once you do that, you will see the traction. But the regulatory body being a little bit slow here, but yet again, The only place that I have in mind that is like a little bit faster and more agile from UAE is Bahrain, and that's it. You know, you have to wait for that. But the good thing is that nowadays there are some proper partners that you can find, and you can offer your services through their licenses under their roof. And it has been the case in Europe and yet, let's say US for a long time. Yeah. So in Europe you can go under someone's license, start your business, etc., and then apply for the license. It wasn't the case here, but nowadays there are like some banks, some providers who do that, who let you do that. But anyway, the biggest challenge, the most important challenge is that they're not like 500 of them. Yeah, they're like you have like choice of 5, 4, you know, and like convincing them is quite difficult, and the numbers are difficult. So if you get like a agreement with a European company, then it won't cost you that much. But here, if you get a partner, it will cost you a lot. But you are getting a service that you cannot get anywhere else that easy. That's the main challenge.
I think you bring up a good point about the UAE and its competitive nature. I always think of this place as it's sort of like the epitome of capitalism, right? Everybody is competing, everybody's looking for an advantage. The market couldn't be more of a free market, and I think you make a compelling argument there that you'll get the best support, but it's going to cost you. Chris, maybe you can speak more as a founder as to the challenges that you faced,
Sure.
and maybe any pieces of feedback or best practices for anyone in the audience that's looking to follow in your footsteps and start up themselves.
Sure. So, to be honest, pretty much everything has been very, very smooth. There haven't been that many challenges, but there are two things that stand out in particular. One is the current challenge we're facing now, and the next one is something I envision being a potential future challenge. I'll have to see, how we end up dealing with that. So, one challenge that we're dealing with right now, which was touched upon by a few people speaking yesterday as well, is when you're looking for funding, like now we're fundraising, right? There is this kind of gap in the UAE. Like it's very easy to find these small checks, like 50K, 100K. There's a lot of people willing to sign those. And then you have these people with very deep pockets that are willing to sign these very, very large checks. And then you have this kind of gap in the middle where, if you're looking to raise, a couple of million maybe, there isn't really anyone plugging in that gap. Like I know there are different initiatives coming in now. I know Innovation City have some stuff in the works, and other regional initiatives coming in as well. But right now there is a bit of a period in the middle where if you're fundraising, you will probably have to go and look outside the region to find your funding. The second one, which I'm very curious about, is as we keep scaling up our local team, what the local talent pool looks like, the technical one. So we're going to need to hire now about 40 developers in the region. Like I know there's a lot of very successful tech companies. We have Talabat and Kareem, and there are many people who've done this very well. But what we're building is very specific, right? It's like AI, gaming. You need, like even when we're hiring globally, it can be tricky to find the right people. So seeing what the local talent pool looks like when it comes to recruiting and expanding our local team in this one particular capacity is going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, specialized talent is definitely one of the, I guess, areas of opportunity moving forward. Obviously, industries are struggling to keep pace with the new technologies, everything that's being developed. Even more, let's say, standardized certifications of someone who is at a certain level in things like Web3, AI, gaming. We're seeing more and more of that. So people who can source that kind of talent is definitely going to be in demand. I mean, Jimmy, your thoughts?
Definitely, I wanted to, go back to the days when we were launching my first startup here 5 years ago. Banking was a very hard hurdle, honestly. Given the track record of crypto at the time, it was really a mess. We were ping-ponged between, BVI banks and then we were registered in the MCC at the time, and it took us maybe 9 months to close a bank from a BVI, and then they had changed that mandate, and now you have to have a local bank, and and that also delayed us, so it was really a mess. But to touch on your point as well, because I had the experience recently, a friend of mine has a brother that finished development degree in the UK, and he wants to come and live here and to get a job here. And with the high cost of living and what they were expecting to get, it's very hard to find just junior developers or even baseline developers because they can't really afford being here, right? So I feel your pain. And it would be great to be able to manage a team that you're with, you know, physically. But it seems that development is always outsourced or decentralized because it just, you know, especially as a startup where when you don't have, you know, a runway of 5 years, you need to, you know, count your pennies. So I feel that, definitely. But otherwise, you know, things are getting better. Our industry is becoming much more legit and is being really revered as a huge revenue stream across the board, especially for governments. So things are looking better now.
I think just to piggyback on what Jimmy said as well is, you know, some of these industries that are now developed and have these deep talent pools, a couple of years ago, this was lacking, right? And I think that's what's going to happen in this AI development space as well. Like companies like ours are going to bring local talent, like through our expansion, and that's going to build out the future talent pools so that other people can follow in those footsteps, you know, and have a ready talent pool to pull from already in the UAE.
Yeah, no. Again, completely aligned here. One of the things that I'm going to do a shameless plug here, but you mentioned that it's a challenge to bring people in because it's expensive, because of the living costs here obviously not being cheap. I can think of one place that's cheaper than Dubai, where you could bring a lot of people. Like all we have is space. Does anyone want to take a guess where that is? Ras Al Khaimah, obviously. So, given that we're coincidentally on the topic of Ras Al Khaimah, what has your experience been thus far with Innovation City? I mean, you've all mentioned Innovation City in some capacity already, but for people who aren't so familiar with the Free Zone itself or with the Emirate itself, two-parter again, how do you feel about your current situation and your current experience, and where do you see it going? Where do you see the future of the Emirate? Chris, you have the mic, so please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So, so we've had a very, very positive experience, and a lot of that is tied to Paul and Nabil. So, for those who don't know, Paul's the CEO, and Nabil is basically his second hand, right? And they've been super supportive of everything we do. They've helped us establish connections, both on the funding side, but also in terms of partnerships. They actually introduced us to Jimmy and IOPN a few weeks ago as well. So we've had several chats before coming here today, and many other people who might somehow tie into what we're building, right? Obviously, all the other pieces like the speed of setting up and the licenses and all this has been great as well. But for us, like the primary strength has really been like the people that are there. Like the people that are there, they know the industry that we're going into. They understand what we're building. And I've done other businesses in Dubai, remote in the past, and worked with other free zones as well. Then I did what I'm sure a lot of people have done, and who are not Dubai native and who just kind of like they're in Europe or in the US, and they look online and they find something and they assume everything's the same. Everything is not the same. I've had some bad experiences with some other places as well. So I'm super happy, like end to end.
Jimmy, do you want to maybe tell us about yours?
Of course. Now, as I mentioned, our relationship with that free zone in specific goes back to the time of inception, and so far, honestly, we've been always working on very innovative verticals with that free zone. In the past, we partnered up basically with Binance, and we created a whole flow where we could allow their high net worth individuals and VIP clients from level 4, 5, and 6 to get access to the golden visa, to the UAE golden visa, and that went very well until the program was paused. So that's how we started the relationship way back when. I'm very happy to say that yesterday we moved in our sovereign AI data center into Innovation City in Rackbank's headquarters. So I'm actually going straight after this talk to run those machines and to test them. So this also is going to be revolutionary for the whole ecosystem. This is going to be based or geared towards AI, gaming, blockchain businesses that want to come and that need sovereign AI compute, as well as, of course, government and semi-government entities that can leverage it. We also are announcing very soon that our Layer 1 blockchain is now the official blockchain of Innovation City and all their licenses. So now, for the first time ever, a governmental free zone is going to be registering all their businesses on-chain. So, and this is just the start. So I'm a bit biased, but we have a great relationship with Innovation City, and we are really staying true to its name and innovating in a space that is ever growing. So we're very excited.
Thanks. That's why you're on the panel. I mean, Irfan, if you have any thoughts on the region as well, we'd love to hear them. Maybe more from a banking perspective, as you're not, licensed, incorporated with Innovation City, but you're a strong partner of us, and you're seeing more and more of our entities set up with you guys, and you're seeing how maybe things like prop trading is becoming more and more an interesting proposition from the region. So your thoughts would also be appreciated.
The main thing that I can see that the companies coming from Ragdoll or Innovation City toward us and get verified with us is that the diversity of the clients. That's very nice to see, because like there are some firms that just like a SPC, single person who's running like a prop trading firm, and they actually have some proper transactions, and then we have like a bigger corporations with another style, with another like providing some services. And the main thing that I think Innovation City got it right is that it can support that diversified portfolio of the companies. That's very important, because you have the free zones where if you want to get started over there, you have to spend like lots of money to like just get over the line. And I think that's the part that Innovation City is doing an amazing job. And like there used to be other free zones for like with a lower prices for licensing, etc. But they weren't toward the let's say innovation or tech companies. And the one that was existing for the innovating part was quite expensive, especially when you say something like prop trading on the license. So I mean, out of the clients, I'm very happy to see that, and like some of our biggest clients coming from Innovation City are single-person companies. They're running their business. It's beautiful. When you say it, it's beautiful.
Amazing. Thanks again. I'm gonna just have one last topic to cover, and we can wrap things up. And if we have time for anyone who has any questions, maybe we can allow that as well. You set up. You are well underway. You're growing. Again, for any founders, for any builders in the audience, or anyone watching at home, what would be your, again, words of wisdom for when they want to scale, for when they want to build outside of Ras Al Khaimah, outside of the UAE, when they want to tackle those international markets? What would be your the USP, the thing that being set up here you think brings to the table when you're faced with competition, not just in the UAE, not just Ras Al Khaimah, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, what have you, but when you're faced with competition coming out of Singapore or Switzerland or the US? How do you take on that challenge to scale internationally?
Look, one of the verticals that we focus on is real-world asset tokenization. And today, we really feel that it's a compliance game at its best. It's not at all a technology game. A lot of people can do it. So what I'm getting at is that relationships here in the region, especially like in MENA and GCC, are very important. They open the door. It's who you know. Your net worth is your network is your net worth. We all say that. But also, we shouldn't, look away when we're thinking of regulations and compliance and having the right licensing. Today, I feel like having the right license can put you in the forefront more than having good relationships or anything, because you will get institutional trust. People will trust whoever BlackRock is going for, not the person that's doing the most noise. The trust that you get from banks, from governments, the relationships that you built after having crossed these hurdles and got the kind of stamp of approval from authorities is very important. So what I would suggest to startups, where potentially a couple of years back this wasn't the case, today you shouldn't look at compliance as a burden. You should see it as actually a card up your sleeve, an opportunity to be ahead, to have pathways that are open to you that are not to others, and that's how you can trump somebody even that's been, way better established or has been there before.
Yeah, so I think this is, again, two parts. So one is obviously the regulatory framework, right? And I think that kind of goes almost without saying. Like myself, I built business in Europe before. Europe is a nightmare when it comes to regulation. Even like trying to scale across EU countries can be a massive pain, right? So having this base where you have regulation that works with you rather than against you, it's like a huge game changer. But the second part, which I think is more relevant for us, right, at the stage we are right now, is again these partnerships, right? It's there is a lot of big global players coming to the region, so it's a hub where you can make connections. So it'll be difficult to find like all together in any other one place. Like now we're exploring some options to do something with TikTok for Innovation City, and we have all kinds of other people who are big players in our space that have. Either they have some sort of presence there, or they're establishing some sort of presence there. It becomes very easy for us to tie into and then form these partnerships.
So I always have this in mind that if you build like 10 cities without any people, it doesn't work, yeah? So that's the most important part. And the thing that I'm getting to is that exactly as you mentioned, licensing in Europe is a nightmare, yeah? So yeah, you have the crowd over there, you know that you can onboard some people, but at some point you have to afford them or release them or not service them. And it's on the contrary here is that if you onboard people and if you comply with the regulatory bodies, so it's okay. You can keep on working, you know? That's the part that's very important to get set up here. Actually, we had like 3 licenses in Europe. We're only like holding 1 now because it's a nightmare, yeah? Because if you have the track record, if you have the traction, I mean, almost nobody cares about your license, yeah? You should have some licenses, but then again, if you have the volume, if you have the traction, if you have the people in your system, you are good. You're good. You can talk with anybody. You say, okay, this much client that we have. This is the volume that we have, and then everybody is happy. Almost all of our partners pretty happy with us. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that here in GCC in MENA, is the most important thing is the partnership. Like if you have a proper partners here, which they support you, you don't need to make any noises, you don't need to do anything else. If you do your job right, there is always a demand. I mean, it's not that difficult to find, and that's the most important thing. No, like you don't need too much noise anywhere. We essentially do not do any marketing in the whole GCC. I mean, nothing, almost nothing. And we have still got the traction because we deliver something which is designed for this region and it works. And that's it. You don't need anything else. Keep that in mind what you're designing for here, this is my experience, is 100% different than what you are designing in Europe. If your target audience is in Europe or in US, we have some similarity with APAC, maybe, like at some level, but you have to design it locally. That's the most
It needs to be
important.
unique.
Yeah, it needs to be tailor-made for GCC or MENA.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks, gentlemen. I think we are overrunning a little bit, so I think we're going to forego questions. I just want to thank Jimmy, Chris, Irfan for joining me today. Thank TheBlock again for running this event, and all of you for being here today with us.